Hey guys, Fabian back here with another video. The World Grand Prix is upon us. Today I want to talk a little bit about the Japanese and Korean players that you guys might not know about and what to expect with these players to make your viewing experience a little more enjoyable. I want to go through the timeline of what Korean, Japan, and Taiwanese players have had to go through to get to this point, so that when you watch these matches a little bit later today, the background of these matches, because there is quite a bit of history between all these players. So let's jump into it. So as an initial disclaimer, I'm not going to talk about every single player that is in these tournaments. We don't have a lot of time. Unfortunately, I was not able to get too much information as a lot of it was in Japanese and Taiwanese and Korean. So I'm just going to be talking about the only the players that are actually in the WGP, and hopefully you guys can kind of get a feeling for what happened here. So first up, let's talk about the Korea versus Japan match. This happened in May 21st of 2016. This was the first time we really saw international competition between Korea and Japan. The Japanese players had been playing together for a long time. However, there had been no real international competition. The Korean versus Japan match was kind of a staple for the international Shadowverse competition, and really what started leading up to where we are now with the World Grand Prix. We see players like, for Japan, we had Ma, Feg, and Scourge. All three are in the World Grand Prix. We're representing Japan in these matches. And the only one to really stay with the Korean team, who is now in the WGP, is Yao. And the interesting thing we saw with this matchup is that Yao ended up beating Ma 2-1. Now, if you don't know who Ma is probably one of the most known players for Shadowverse in Japan. He is probably known as, I would say, the best player currently in the world is the public opinion of him. So when Yao was able to take down Ma in a 2-1 close matchup, it was a pretty big upset and a really good win for Korea.
With these big threats and huge clears.
Ugh.
That seems good.
Super massive.
There's no waste. Frog's not going to be enough here.
Frog's gonna try to bandage this up. Ooh, yeah, with the fist pump. Oh, is he taking the mask? No.
No.
I was like, is that man about to take his mask off? Like, that'd be the ultimate pop off.
If he ever wins like the World Championship, you think he'll ever take his mask off?
Maybe. Maybe they'll ask him to. Ma still has the exact same expression that he just has not changed at all.
So then in November 23rd of 2016, we had Rage Volume 3. This is where Ma and Roro first met in the grand finals, and Ma was able to take down Roro in a 3-0. A lot of people accredit this to the fact that he pulled a Sage Commander and took Game 2 with it as sort of a top deck. This was back when Path to Purgatory was the main competition. Game 3 ended up being Forestcraft PTP from Roro, where he actually kept that deck through Game 1, 2, and 3, and ended up losing all 3 times, unfortunately. And now there's a pretty big rivalry between Ma and Roro. Both of them, if you watch their introduction videos, actually are looking to take each other out. Roro really wants to get that vengeance back against Ma. So this is a pretty big matchup to look out for. Then in March 26th of 2017, we had the Famitsu Cup, where Scourge and Feg first met in the grand finals, and Feg ended up winning a 3-1 in a pretty decisive victory, and that really sparked the rivalry between Feg and Scourge, and now Scourge is just looking to get vengeance against Feg.
First 東日本予選西日本予選4位スカージ選手対東日本予選4位フェグ選手の勝利です。よってシャドーバースライズ・オブ・バハムートファミ通カップ2017優勝はフェグ
June 10th of 2017, Rage Volume 4 happens, and then we have Enju and SOS meet in the grand finals, where it ends very closely with Enju taking the win 3-2.
ガッツポーズが出ました。SOS 選手、ドラゴンで1本を取りました。
June 18th, later on in 2017, we have the first anniversary tournament where Ma and SOS meet in the grand finals, and surprisingly, SOS ends up taking the win 2-0, seemingly very easily. Unfortunately, there's not too much footage of what happened here, but this kind of sparked a rivalry as well between Ma and SOS. I believe SOS is known as a very good player, but Ma was known as one of the best, if not the best in the world. SOS taking him out 2-0 was a pretty big upset, and you can see with SOS's reaction, I think he's just as surprised as everybody else.
からの運命で相手に2点を与えながら、はい、大玉の隆起、はい、いやこれではおそらく足らないですね。足らない。はい。そっか。フォアが必ず1体残ってしまいますので。そうですね。はい、そして2に個々があるのは分かってますからね。はい。の方もさあ SOS がもう。
September 18th, 2017, we have Rage Volume 5 ending with Sure and Tizen in the finals, with Sure taking out Tizen 3-1.
Ambling Rage.
The ambling Rage! Tizen reached out to the sky. He reached out and he scraped the face of first place. He left.
September 27th, 2017, we head over to Korea, where the Masters of Korea tournament is coming to an end with the season, and we have Silent Slayer and Chopin at the grand finals, where Silent Slayer won it out with a 4-2 victory.
여기서 4-4-5 먹으면서 여기서 사이언트 슬레이어 대한민국에서 열린 마스터즈 오브 섀도우버스의 우승자로 진득합니다.
아 이번 판 진짜 B조비 거의 다 진 거였어요. 진 거였는데 1, 2P를 친 B조비였거든요. 근데 승부를 거는 타이밍 너무 좋았어요. 네, 바로 직전에 세레머니까지.
November 24th, 2017, we actually head to Taiwan, where they have the Triple Threat tournament, where it is Taiwan, Korea, and Japan meeting in a single tournament, with Taiwan having 2 teams, Korea and Japan having 1 team of their own, 3 people to a team. For Japan, we have Feg, Enju, and Sure taking the win for Japan, while Taiwan is being represented by Emerald, Yusei, and RSI. And for Korea, this is where we really see the first of Chopin after Masters of Korea losing to Silent Slayer. Enju takes a surprisingly easy victory against Emerald in a 2-1 fashion, Feg beating out RSI in a 2-0 fashion, while Sure takes out Yusei 1-0. I'm not sure if there was a second game there. Unfortunately, the VODs only really have 1 game against them, but we see Japan winning out pretty easily against Taiwan. So Taiwan going into this has kind of a grudge to pay against Japan, and we'll see how they do in the World Grand Prix.
すごすぎる。演じここでしっかり最後の一戦をものにしまして日本、台湾、韓国、地域対抗の試合。
December 2nd, 2017, head over to the JCG World Grand Prix qualifier, where Satoshi and Arusan meet in the grand finals, and Satoshi barely winning it out with a 3-2 victory.
アルさんもサトシに拍手。サトシここで優勝。JCG ワールドグランプリプレーオフ。サトシが優勝でこのまま。
And the last, December 9th, 2017, we have Rage Volume 6, also known as Rage The Next Generation, where Hasu and Par meet in the grand finals. You guys may have seen this on NGE. Hasu taking an incredibly quick and easy 3-0 with his aggro decks. Pretty dominating fashion. I think right now, Hasu is probably one of the players to look out to win the entire tournament with the current meta as is.
And it's already over. Or best of 3. Yep. Best of 5. Best of 5 and it's already over.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed that, guys. Hopefully it gives you a little bit background to all these players, where they're coming from. So it gives you a little more excitement when you're watching these matches. There's a lot of rivalry built up between all these Japanese players. All the Taiwanese players and the Korean players have met with each other. The only real non-factor has been the European and NA players at this point. So it's going to be interesting to see how these players do against Asia, as they really haven't played too much. So good luck to all players in the tournament. Let me know if you'd like to see more content like this, and I'll see you next time.